What's up? How's it going? Oh, there's 2 people in. 1 like so far. If the other person hasn't hit like yet for some reason, I don't know why. What the hell is the matter with you? Like, hit the like button. Like what the hell? No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. They probably left. So how's it going, guys? Yeah, I'm sure you've all heard about the Catholic, Covington Catholic boy, the extreme racist, Trump supporting, white, privileged males that laughed in that fucking native guy's face. Like, oh my God, it was so horrible, so horrible. Like, I watched that the first time and I didn't think it was bad. I was like, before anything came out, I was like, what? He was staring at him. He was looking at this native guy's face, and everybody's like, there's all these tweets coming out. Oh, we got to rearrange this kid's face and dox his fucking all those kids and ruin their life and make sure they never go to a university ever again. And you see all these other tweets. This says blue check mark. Oh, it doesn't matter how old they are. We need to set them in place to teach them about their white privilege early on in life. It's crazy. Hey, Jesus. Hey, Paul. Hey, Brian. What's up? He was bullied and practically assaulted. Yeah. There was those black Israelites there yelling, that one black kid, they're going to steal your organs. They're going to steal your organs. I'm like, that was the funniest thing ever. I laughed so hard at that. And they're like, yeah, guess what? When they're older, they're going to take those organs from you. And I'm like, oh my God. But, those kids showed a lot of restraint, in my opinion. They did nothing wrong. Even the first video I watched, I was like, okay, maybe they're like kind of not taking this guy seriously, but that's about it. But it's like, what would you do if some random native guy comes in your face and starts beating a drum? And, oh, he's a veteran. No, what liberals, they only care about veterans when it's like a minority veteran. But meanwhile, there's like some Antifa guy beating a veteran over the head with a fucking stick. And they're like, whatever. There's some Antifa. They like kick over people in wheelchairs, like veterans and shit. People have like pepper sprayed them in the past before. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. And it's funny. I love the outrage of these people because of these like white kids, because of that one white kid staring at him. Where I remember a while ago, there was like that black woman. She was in a wheelchair and she was protecting Trump's star, and a bunch of like crazy leftists started like kicking her and like kicking her while she's down, and she's just trying to protect Trump's star, and she's like black and in a wheelchair. And the media barely even covered it. Nobody was like, we need to fucking find those guys and ruin their lives. And there wasn't mobs of people showing their faces around, there wasn't like Sean King going around being like, all right, guys, here's all the faces. Now you need to go and find out where each one of them lives. Now all these kids, they're like deleting their Instagram accounts, their social media accounts, because they're getting death threats. And even after it's come out and there's new footage, people are still running with the old message, like, oh, these kids, they're still a bunch of racists, and oh, doesn't matter that there's new information out, doesn't matter. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You saw the native guy walk up to them. He lied about literally everything. He lied. He's like, they were yelling, build the wall. And all the media's quoting this, and people are like, oh, but he was yelling, build the wall at those. How could he say this? And nobody heard it. There was tons of footage there. It's the media. It's clear that they just want to push a narrative, because they could easily go on Twitter. It took me 2 seconds to go on Twitter, and I look below and I'm like, I see all these other videos showing like the real thing while everybody's reporting on it. Now they're like, oh, because of new information coming out. It's like, do some fucking work, do some journalism. You could have figured this out pretty fucking easily, but clearly they don't want that. You know, it's back to the whole anti-white narrative, anti-Trump. You know, these people are out to get you. These white people are out to get you. There was a article from, I can't remember who it was a while ago, but they're like, oh, look at all the instances of white people calling cops on black people this year. What is that supposed to do? What is the intention of articles like these and the media to only focus on these instances when there's plenty of instances of another race doing it to a white person, or, you know, where you could make a big fucking stink about it, but it's not being made. It's the idea that, you know, white people are out to get you. White people want to hurt you, want to do bad things to you. And the more people believe that, the more they're going to vote for, you know, an authoritarian state, leftist state that is going to protect them against these evil white Trump supporter MAGA hat wearers that smile at Aboriginal people. Like, that's what he did. He smiled at the guy, and he's like, you know, at one point, and it's funny, the media right next to that guy, there's some Aboriginal guy yelling, fuck you white people this, white people this. They're like, you know, obviously cut that out. Thank you, Rainy Steps, man. Thank you for the donation, man. Tim Hortons. Yeah, except it's an American company. But yeah. Yeah, that was such a ridiculous bullshit thing, Anarcore. Like, you know, just right away, I knew something was fishy. I was like, And you know what's funny? You see all of these fucking Ben Shapiro right away condemned it, right? And then you know, comes out later, retracts it. A bunch of these other conservative type people condemned it, right? And Ben Shapiro was wrong about everything. It's funny. He was like, he condemned Steve King because of, I think, the New York Times taking a quote out of context where he was saying like white supremacy and Western civilization, but really he was just defending Western civilization. And then you know, Ben Shapiro doesn't give him the benefit of the doubt. And then the very next day, they're like, all these people take Ben Shapiro's quote about baby Hitler out of context, and now he's losing all these sponsors. And he's like, oh, clearly I didn't say that. It's like, well, I don't feel bad for you, Ben. And then you got the next day, oh, these, like, I saw the same video you all saw. I didn't see anything bad the very first time. The very first video that they're showing, they're like, oh, look at this fucking Trump supporter kids staring at a native man while he's like, man, you're lucky that kid didn't punch you in the fucking face. You know, honestly, like walking up on somebody, they didn't part way from me and bow for me on the ground. Like, fuck off, man. That's just such a bullshit thing. It's like some of the kids moved and then they surrounded me and were yelling, build the wall, which didn't happen. And then he's like, oh, I went because he even said that they were harassing these, and the media is like, oh, these young black males. I'm like, young black males, they have fucking gray in their beard, some of these guys. Like, young black males, what the hell are you talking about? Some of these guys are probably like 40 years old. And the native guy lied. He's like, oh, they were harassing the black people, and I went to diffuse the situation. and then you know, he just walks in their faces and starts drumming like a fucking retard, like a retard. And it's like, what? And you know what? They're like, oh, we annually we go there annually to honor the native veterans. Why don't you do it on Veterans Day like everybody else, you asshole? Secondly, this is new. This is the very first year those people ever went there. I went to their fucking site. I went it up, looked, they're like, first year ever, first march. We're going to go there the day before the women's march. So they did it purposely on the March for Life. You know what? Fuck that. That's just planned, man. These people, they plan this shit. It's like Rosa Parks, man. It's like Rosa Parks all over again. You know, they do this type of shit, you know, to get a certain result, to craft a certain narrative. But, you know, it's such a frustrating goddamn thing. And you see all these ravaged leftists on Twitter, like, off with their heads, dox them all, essentially. There's like, what was that woman who had the head of Trump cut off, you know, holding it, that red-headed cunt. She said something about like, give me their names and addresses and all this shit. Like, holy crap, man. You know, this is how they deal. This is how they react, though, when it's white racism, right? That's all they care about. They don't care about racism. They care about white racism. You know, they could care fucking less about anybody else being discriminated against white people. Nonetheless, all these crazy racists going after these kids because they're white. You know, this is just exposing all these other racists who actually have a deep-seated hatred for white people, because you see them, even with the new information coming out, they're still being like, okay, well, they still need to fucking, you saw it, we all saw the video, oh, they were surrounding him and laughing at that guy's face. Like, look at the video, like that guy, that native guy, he's like, oh, these angry faces were surrounding me. And you see the videos, all these kids are like laughing and giggling, like, yeah. And they're like, these angry faces. And I knew it was a mob mentality. I've seen that. I was in war and it was a mob. It's like, you know, these people they project. You know, imagine a Trump hat walking in the middle of a bunch of just a regular leftist support thing. They would lose their shit. You would actually be in danger. You would start to see a mob mentality in these people's, not the reverse, but these people, all they do is project. They project everything that they do onto you. But, you know, I'll read a little bit of the chat here. Guilty for existing. I missed me. It's a psyop pretending that some dude is actually that angry over build the wall. I know, he was crying. He was crying. He's like, oh, like, oh man, there's so much fucking fake news, so much fake news involved in this. And it's like, you know, it's just, and now a lot of them are retracting their statements, and they're like, they're deleting their statements, all these people, you know, because they probably don't want to be sued, I'm guessing. But, you know, this is more anti-white shit. Hey, Justin, what's up? The mainstream media took a shit kicking this week. Yeah, I know, right? BuzzFeed as well, with the whole Trump thing. And they're like, oh, we got him. We finally got him. Oh, no. Like, I don't even pay attention to any of that Mueller stuff whatsoever, because it's just kind of like every day, oh, we got him this time, guys. It's like, I'm just going to wait until it's done. And when it's done, it's done. And I'm going to be like, okay. Trump, you know, they're going to, try to pin him with something, but nothing yet. And, you know, the argument people bring to that is they're going to be like, oh, these investigations take long. It took Bill Clinton like 8 years for them to find anything on him. So, yeah, that's true, right? You know, it's not like they're going to find anything with Russia. They really want to find some business deals he did in the past that were probably shady, and I'm sure he's done a lot of shady business deals. But that was a shame, the way grown men attack school kids, and then the media turned on the kids with lies. Right, exactly, right. And it just immediately, but it exposes their own biases, their own hatred clearly to see. You know, if you can't see it by now, then you're blind. But, you know, it's perfect for them. White boys, Trump hats, you know, native man, surrounding, like, it's perfect optics for them. But, you know, in the day and age of the cell phone, there is a lot more fucking footage of other people to debunk the fucking narrative that the media is often going to run with or push. And so, that is a great thing. It's a good thing. The smartphone's bad. It's got some bad things to it. People are addicted to them. But at least everybody has a video camera in their pocket now. And that does come in handy, especially debunking the fake news media. Because they would have ran with this story. None of them did any investigation, and it was just other people probably hounding them. They're like, "Oh shit, we could probably retract some of this stuff." But that was a shame. The way Caps. I thought Tim Horton was a Canadian hockey player. Oh, he is, or he was, but the company now is owned by some American company. But yeah, I still buy Tim Hortons. I'll still take Rainey up on that money and probably get Tim Hortons. But when I buy coffee and I make it at home, I buy like cheap coffee, because I'm like, Tim Hortons is like $20 for like a tin, and I could buy like a Folgers for like $6. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that. Fucking just throw more sugar in it, more cream. This is the same thing. There you go. Caps, National Socialism. Okay. The company was sold to the American overlord. Ben Shapiro, second rate. William F. Buckley. That was my favorite coffee place. Approved opposition. Tim Hortons hasn't been good for a while. They used to cook up their donuts fresh. Yeah, their donuts are shit now. Like, I can't, their donuts are garbage. And, there's some good stuff there. I guess some of their sandwiches and stuff, but like, I guess they got some more option. Oh, hey, Gabriel Lopez. How's it going, man? Long time no see. Thank you for the donation. Hey, nice to see you streaming. Brazil may be a shithole, but fuck Canada. Hey, man, you got Bolsonaro in Brazil, right? As opposed to we have Trudeau. I would honestly take that over what we have in Canada right now, because there's very little hope for Canada in the future. It seems like to me, like, I like Maxime Bernier and stuff, but him having a shot, and with the cuckiness of the country, you know what I mean? And at least you got Bolsonaro. I don't know too much about him, but I know he's more conservative, right wing at the very least. Maybe I'm sure there's plenty of things I disagree with, but nonetheless, having Trudeau and then cucky Scheer as second, replacement, if he doesn't, it's like, it's not very good options. But thank you for the donation, though, man. I really appreciate it. When Trudeau's handing out the free checks, oh yeah, the free checks that he's giving to all these people on Roxham Road, he's giving $25,000 to people who live close to the exit of where all these refugees are coming into Canada, in Quebec. So it's just more money he's throwing to Quebec because, just typical. He's going to pander to them. He's going to pander to Ontario. He's going to pander to Quebec, whatnot. And he's going to give them all this fucking money. And yeah, Faith Goldie went and was interviewing one of them, and the lady's like, yeah, I'm one of those people. I get the 25,000. And no, it doesn't influence my perception on the refugees at all, because she's like, oh, bring them all in. All these people complaining about the wages decreasing and the shelters and this, oh, that's all nonsense. And this bitch, she's from fucking the UK or something. Go back to fucking England if you're gonna fucking be like that and be right on the on our fucking border. But she's probably like, well, you're still a colony of Britain, so fuck you. It's like, no, fuck you, and fuck all you other motherfuckers taking that money and not saying anything about it, because you have a right. You could refuse it. You could. Oh, well, that's a lot of money. Well, you're a fucker, man. You could be like, telling people about this, making a bigger stink. But yeah, you were paid off to shut up. And it's because of the traffic. And now they have to contend with traffic going back and on the roads here and there. Right? So, fuck you. I don't give a shit. And it's like there's some politicians in Manitoba complaining, and they're like, well, we're not getting any money, and the majority of the people going through, it's like 95% of the people are going through Quebec and stuff, but it is designated there in a sense where there's like a bunch of police there to like, okay, here you go. We're going to bring you into Canada now, where you get your free house and you're going to be put in a hotel room, and we're going to give you a child tax credit, and we're going to give you a work permit in the first fucking 4 weeks so you can go work, and we're going to give you welfare, and we're going to give you all this other shit. But in Manitoba and Emerson, when they were coming up, they were like knocking on people's houses at like 4 a.m, 3 a.m, because there's no, they were just walking across the border. People were picking them up randomly. This guy like froze 4 of his fingers or something. And it's like, but obviously they're going to pander to fucking Quebec. They're going to pander these places that vote for fucking Trudeau. And it's why I hate politics. I hate the government, because this is how they operate. They ignore the people that they don't need to pay attention to, and then they pay off the people that they need to pay attention to. There's enough of our money that they can do that with. And and people are willing to just take it, right? And just take it. But when Trudeau's got me ranting on those checks, but we need more big black you fucking big black Johnson, man. Justin Trudeau plans to experiment giving Canadian unconditional free money. Justin Trudeau delivers formal apology to the guy's apologizing to, like, he's going to apologize to the Jews being detained by the Egyptians or something. He's going to be like, we're not Egyptian, but we're sorry that they had you people as slaves 2,000 years ago, and we apologize. And here's some money. Here's some money. Here's some more money, because that's all these apologies are accompanied with. It's never just an apology. It's always like apology and $150 million to nonsense bullshit causes that are going to be wasted and blah 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 on bureaucracy and bullshit and stupid causes that nobody wants except for the people that you're paying off with our fucking money. How about that one Hollywood producer tweeting out a pic of kids with MAGA hats being tossed in? Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. What was his? Morrissey, Jack Morrissey. That was his name. And he locked his account. I looked, his Instagram locked it. So this guy is afraid he's going to be fucking sued, which he should be. What the fuck? But I'm saying, like, this is this type of, like, the only people you're allowed to openly hate and criticize and make death threats against and whatnot is white people and white kids, or white kids that happen to be conservative. Because if you're David Hogg and you're this and you're that, then if you say something about him, then your video is going to be removed and it's going to be censored, which one of my videos was. And same with Styx Hexenhammer. One of his videos on this thing got removed. And this, I could probably get a community guideline strike for this video as well, just because it has the Covington Catholic in the name, and maybe me just saying that right now triggered something in their algorithm. And this video could be soon copyright, or not copyright, but flagged for hate speech or something. Like, they do this whenever there's some topic that they don't want people to talk about. And it's funny how it was this. It's not like it was some very sensitive thing where people died, right? But all these videos were being removed from YouTube. All the videos of, like, evidence proving it, or people talking about it before the other evidence coming out in the mainstream proving that these kids are not bullshitting. Then before that, all these people are getting removed. And I was going to make a video. I was like, maybe I'm going to wait a day or something. Like, I don't know. and just more shit came out. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do a live stream or something. You know, I got to start making more videos again, because those get more reach and stuff. I can potentially grow, you know, my audience bigger that way. But, you know, I'm just lazy, and I'm like, I'm just going to fucking do a stream or something and rant about stuff and interact with the chat, because I do like doing that. How about, and let me know if, you guys like these streams and stuff too. If you like the live streams, if you want me to go back to making more, I want to maybe do some fucking debates eventually. I want to have some, or host debates. I want to like moderate 2 people debating, and potentially it be kind of like a blood sports thing. Whereas, you know, I'm not going to like, you know, make sure I'm not going to let them go crazy at each other, but, you know, moderate somewhat, but let them, you know, say some words if they got it. Let's see here. Let me go. I've already been censored. If anybody has a question they want to ask specifically, just put AJ Elicits in the chat, or highlight my name there, like at AJ Elicits. House value, probably dive the stream. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Cause we get all chat. Yeah, you know, I like interacting with the chat. You know, I have fun doing that. I stay away from social media altogether, except YouTube and Skype. Don't give Zucker ass the ad revenue. Yeah, I don't use Facebook at all either. You know, just don't be like Andy Worski, okay, Jay? Oh yeah, no, like he's a fucking retard. Honestly, like he's just an idiot, and you know, I liked him and stuff. And I still kind of do, but like he kind of screwed. He showed what type of a person he kind of is when he went after like Boober Lee and you know, a couple of these other people, and now he's getting some more views. I saw ever since that Tonka backed out of the fight. And you know what? I was gonna make a video about this a month ago or two, and I was gonna say I knew immediately Tonka wasn't going to fight. I was just like, I had a good feeling, but I was like, whatever. I'm like, I don't care about making content about that. Should I even? But I knew Tonka was going to back down from the fight anyways. Now Andy's getting some more views because of that, but it's going to go down again. And it's funny, in my video that I made about him the last time, about a month ago, I called it. I said, and probably 2 to 3 weeks, he's going to get rid of Geek Through. I'm like, I give it 2 to 3 weeks. Sure enough, 2 or 3 weeks, he went on hiatus for like 2 weeks, and then he's doing 3-4 episodes, and there's no Geek Thulu. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, but this is Andy Worski. Maybe a few of you guys know what I'm talking about. Canadian white birth rate issue and dating problems in the modern PC world. Well, I think they're horrendous. I think the birth rate is terrible, and we don't have enough to replace our population. And, you know, that would not necessarily be a bad thing, having less kids, if it wasn't for all of the socialism and social programs and money, pensions, welfare, all this other crap that we do have, which the globalists use as an argument to bring over tons of migrants to replace us, right? So even if that's true or not true, and we could have our socialist paradise without it and have a bunch of migrants or whatever, or no migrants and still have our social paradise, this is the argument they use, okay? So, you know, I think that, yeah, we need to go back to a small government. We need to go back to less redistribution of wealth. And if we do that, more white people will get more money to have for their kids. Because if we're all these race realists and stuff, right? Who has predominantly higher IQs? White people. In who are the majority in white countries, Western countries? White people. It's not Asians, even if they do have higher IQs. If you do take IQ into account or whatever, but if this is true and we have a meritocracy, that means that white people will gain more resources, and not even more resources. It's not like we're going to take more of the pie. because that's not how the economy necessarily works. We will create more of the pie for everybody to also indulge on and partake in, because people have more jobs with, more money, better security, whatever. But that would be good for us, in my opinion, because if there's all these other people, that they'll have less kids. There's not all this socialism, welfare, less people want to come here because they're going to have to actually work. Whereas even if their own country, there's some type of safety net sometimes, a little bit, obviously not as good as what they get in Canada, but they'll just be like, fuck it, I'm going to stay in my own country surrounded by people that look like me and are like me, instead of going there and trying. And the people who do come and try, those people, will be good. They'll integrate a lot better than people that we're bringing in right now. But that is how I think we should solve, or would solve, the birth rate problem. I don't think subsidies and giving white people subsidies to have kids, first of all, you're not going to do that politically. Good luck. You have to be fucking a minority to be able to pull that shit off. But you're never going to get white subsidies and stuff. And even if you did, you don't want that. You don't want those subsidies, because it's going to be a lot of dumb white people getting that. You're going to have a bunch of dumb white people breeding, and we're going to have a dumb white population. That's not good either. So you want people surviving who can survive off of their own merits. And I'm not saying everybody has to pull up their bootstraps and nobody can have help from anybody. We all have family, we all have friends, we all have community structure. This will incentivize us to now try to develop relationships with our family and friends more, instead of just relying on the government to do everything. If we have to rely on our community more, then we'll get to know our community more. We can trust our community more. Then we can let our kids out to play like they used to. Then they can learn from other people in the community. That would be better for everybody, in my estimation. But the way we're going now, we're just going to be replaced. We're just going to be a small group of people at one point, the way it's going right now. And what are we going to be? Just like some tax slaves or something? Because it's not even necessarily like our white people will go extinct or something. It really comes down to the proportions, the proportions of people. If we represent 5% of people, that's not very good, especially in our own countries eventually. What's recently happened to small towns in Alberta? No, I have not seen what has recently happened to small towns in Alberta. Are they being completely multicultural-fied or something? HIV is on the rise now, bug chasing and gift giving. Yeah, in a lot of different drug problems, or fentanyl is on the rise, all that stuff. Yeah, the whole education system needs to be defunded. I agree. 70-80% of those divorces are initiated by women, then men still have to pay for their nail jobs and Ben and Jerry's. Yeah, exactly, right? How bullshit is that? And that is, once again, facilitated by the state at the end of a gun saying, give your wife all of your money. Do this, do this, do this. Women give up their kid for adoption and be like, wipe her hands clean and be like, okay, we're done. I don't have to worry about this kid ever again. But men can never do this. You can never be like, oh, I don't want to pay for this kid anymore. I don't want to do this. They're like, no, doesn't matter. Sorry. Unless you're super crazy deadbeat where you don't have a job and then they can't tax you or anything. I know people who do that. They just won't work then. And that's not good for society either then. Once again, this thing will get people to then work under the table more, or not work because they don't want to have to pay child support. Or then when they do work, and they do work hard, a lot of their money gets taken to pay for this woman who's living it up essentially, and you're like, this is bullshit. That should not be okay. I agree with some child support, obviously, if the parents are separated, but not separation payments if like there's no kid. I don't really see why you should have to take care of that person. But there's circumstances, right? You got to think about it, right? Like, let's just say there's some guy like Jeff Bezos right now, good example, and he's being sued by his wife for how much? I don't know how many, $130 billion. Well, apparently in his book, he wrote that she pushed him to like sell all these things or start his business, and like pushed him to do all this stuff, right? And kind of, without her doing that, it's true that he may not have done what he did, but behind every good man is a great woman, or whatever that fucking quote is. But that is somewhat true. And, if you have had success and you're with the same woman since you're 20 and she was with you since you weren't successful, and she didn't work and was there supporting you and all this stuff, and then maybe you do divorce, I don't think she should get nothing. That's pretty harsh, to be honest, right? That's pretty fucking harsh. But I think, like I said, most women do initiate divorces, like he said before, and it's bullshit. Like, no fault divorces, there's no culture around keeping families together. And all the propaganda is divorce your lame something husband and go have affairs in Italy while your kids are like, where's mom? Where's mom? Like, go be that fucking 50 Shades of Grey woman or something. And, like, why did that book sell so fucking much? That was like the most sold book ever. There's probably a lot of liberal women that feminists probably that also want to bring in a lot of Muslims, at the same time. It's like, same type of women. They want to be like beat or something, like, I don't know. It's fucked up. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, the state just fucks everything up. It disincentivizes us to have children. Initially, or the people who do everything right, the people who work hard, regardless of race, white, black, Asian, or whatever, you will be taxed more. You'll be disincentivized to, prosper more, to do more, to invest more in your kids. Plus the educational system and stuff, right? Yeah, my house isn't gonna gain any value in the next 10 years. I'll be lucky to get what I paid for, right? It shows Canada looking at trouble in the future. Prison had no father around. Yeah, exactly. 85% of men in prison had no father around. And that's a huge thing, right? And that's why I thought that Gillette commercial was so funny, because, oh, men so bad, men bad, men bad. And yeah, the men who didn't stick around to raise their sons, those guys are bastards. They're losers. But 50% or like 85% of like men in prison were raised by single mothers. A lot of men nowadays are raised, like 50% of men are raised primarily by women, educated primarily by women. They're surrounded by women, but as soon as they're 18, oh, it's toxic masculinity. It's your fault for everything. You did everything bad. Oh, it's like have you ever seen a spoiled child and how the fuck they react when there's like a single mother and the kid's like, I want this, and the mom's like, no, you can't do this. It's like that's just your kid has grown up, and he's still like that. He's still fucking impatient, or she, and erratic and violent, and they think they can get their way by just stomping their feet or causing a big enough fuss. Those are your kids. Those are the kids of single mothers, because they don't have a dad around to straighten them up. And you can blame the guy, yes, who ran away, but no, most women are not raped, right? Most women are not raped. So this means they open their legs and let somebody fuck them, right? So choose your men better. If some guy's like comes up to you and he's like, yo, 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 he's got a teardrop tattoo, and he's got a tattoo on his neck and his face and shit, and he's doing all this shit. Maybe don't fuck him without a condom. Maybe don't do that, and you won't have a dad that runs away when you tell him you're pregnant. Maybe do that instead of being like, I got 4 kids and they all left. None of them stuck around. What do you expect to have 4 dads all living in the same house raising your fucking kids? Of course they're not going to stick around because you're a whore, and men don't stick around with whores. And the men who do that shit and just fuck women and come to them and then just leave, they're assholes too. You know, they should be essentially sterilized. And, you know, some of these guys have like 10, 15 kids from all these different mothers, and you're like, what is the matter with you? And they're like, yeah. It's like, don't you feel bad about not being in your kid's life to raise your kid? Like, don't you feel bad about that? Like, I would feel bad if I had a kid and and I never knew him. I'd feel fucking terrible not having a say in that kid's life, and not, you know, doing everything I could to make sure that kid grows up to be fully functional, well-adjusted adult. You know, like what kind of person are you to just, essentially JF. Yeah, I'll see people, they'll be like, oh, so I'm reproducing and blah, blah, blah. You're scum, man. Honestly, that's how I look at you. I look at you as being scum if you don't stick around, or if you fuck a chick without a condom, that is a crazy whore as well. And you're like, well, I don't want to. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be with her either. But it's like, why do you do this? This is why back in society, before all these new feminist shit that has come out recently, there was a lot of people that try to make sure people stayed together. There was a lot of shotgun weddings going on because some dumb young kids had sex, had a baby, and they're like, well, you're going to get married, because they understood, you know, without getting married, without the institution, without taking it seriously, that, you know, your society is going to be overrun with a bunch of kids that are raised by single fucking mothers, and they're going to be violent, they're going to be sexual, they're going to be crazy in general. They're not going to be well adjusted. You know, and it's like, of course, why would they be well adjusted? We've been raising children in a monogamous type relationship for thousands of years. And before that, we raised them in tribes, small tribes. So, you know, with men and women around, so they would have role models to see. But now it's so unnatural for men or women to only ever see women as an example growing up. Of course, kids are fucked up today. Of course, they're all fucking trannies and turning into gays and shit, because their single mothers are putting them in front of the RuPaul drag race, like that Desmond kid. And then they're like, well, I don't know why he's gay and he likes to put on. He just did it one day randomly. It's because you put him in front of these things at 2 years old, and he's been sitting and watching this for years. You know, and if there was a guy in that house, maybe there is, and he's just, I don't know, completely brainwashed. But if there isn't, or if there was, he would come in and be like, what the fuck are you doing to my kid, to my son? Don't let him watch this shit. What is wrong with you, woman? And she'd be like, oh, but it's cool. I like that show. It's funny. It's a funny show. He doesn't know what he's seeing. It's like, yeah, he does. Their brain is just absorbing everything. You know, that's why you need a man in the house to set that shit fucking straight. Typically, like, not all women are like that. Obviously not. Plenty of women would never do that to their kid, obviously. But I'm just saying, like, they're going to be more prone to potentially doing that. So, you know, they need some type of male figure in the household. But I kind of lost track of what I was talking about there. But yeah, it was all about these Covington Catholic boys. So that was the original stream was about. But so much fake news. And what I came across was this guy on Twitter, because he was kind of talking about, I saved one of his tweets, but then I went through and I started reading his Twitter and his timeline, and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's such a piece of fucking shit. Andre, his name is. Okay, let me go up here. Let's see here. See, Andre, contributing editor to Maclean's, hashtag Black Tea co-host, writer, dad, Steambox. But yeah, this guy's tweets, it's like every other tweet, it's about a white person and about racist white people, about, you know, how, it's like, oh yeah, this was stupid. Bree, some other blue check mark woman, January 20th. Bree Newsome Bass, I don't know who, artist, free black woman, we are more than conquerors through Christ who loves us. So this woman has 215K followers. You know, she's following 1,000 people, but she wrote, every time white racism, see, that's what I mean. They only care about white racism. They even name it. Every time white racism shows its ass, because you put asterisks, we got to go through this inane exercise. She spelled through wrong. Inane exercise of folks acting like they don't know where it came from. And she's talking about the Catholic boys. So it's like, you know, because people are like, oh, I guess their initial reaction was like, why are these boys like this? And she put in quotes, where do these kids learn such behavior? Where are the parents? And then she wrote, who do you think taught the kids to be racist? Stop with this fake shock. So she's just implying her parents taught the kids to be racist. But once again, these dumb leftists, they all saw the video me and you saw as well. And they're like, clearly these racists were taught by their kids to like spit in this native guy's face. Like the only person that was spit on were those white kids by the fucking black Israelites. Fuck that native guy. He's a lying scumbag. Lying scum piece of fucking shit. Do you think lefties subconsciously know whites are better? Those black dudes were abusing the kids with racial and homophobic slurs, and they are all silent. They expect blacks to be bad. No, I don't even think it's that. I think it's just the narrative that they want to push. You know, all they want to do is push division. They want to push racial division, and white people are the majority. And historically, you know, yeah, we own shit and blah, blah, blah. It's a very easy narrative to push because we have conquered a bunch of people and imperialized a lot of things and, you know, took over a lot of stuff. You know, it's easy to be like, oh, the white supremacy and to feed into all that bullshit narrative. Oh, the white man and the white people want to kill you. And they, you know, I always see these people. They always say they're trying to kill you. They don't say white people when they say stuff like that, but that's what it means when they say they. I'm like, I know what the fuck you're saying. You know, this is not a very good dog whistle. I know exactly what the fuck you're saying, but they just want to push this narrative that white people want to, you know, imprison blacks, to go back to Jim Crow era, to subjugate all these people, so then they can go and be like, see, we need civil rights laws, and see, we need to take away private property rights or freedom of association, and we need to take away more and more of your rights, because really that's what they're against. They're against your freedoms and your freedom of association and your freedom of speech. Sorry, that there's a fly or something. And your freedom of speech that hurts the feelings of minorities. needs to be curbed because it's bad, and these white supremacists are using free speech as cover, right? It's all about your rights. It's all about it. And it's very easy with white people to do that with, and a lot of them just hate white people. A lot of people are probably not. I think a lot of the media, is run by a lot of fucking Jewish people that don't like white people, that don't like Western civilization, and take any fucking chance they get to be like, to shit on it. Be like, oh, see, they're bad. Oh, nationalism bad. Oh, I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. It's just true. There's a lot of fucking Jewish people in the media, and a lot of them don't like fucking Western civilization, like to talk shit about it quite a bit. And, that is something I have noticed, because there is some inferiority complex when it comes to Western civilization. Not necessarily white people. Some people, I think, do have a complex when it comes to white people, but generally, I think that when it comes to Western civilization, a lot of people don't like that it is the kind of the bastion of all the freedoms and things, the good things that we have today in life. It's really hard for people to admit to themselves that, like, oh yeah, white people are kind of responsible for all that shit. And it's like, people, they're so angry at white people all the time, but it's like, if you really think about it, most people would still be slaves right now if it wasn't for white people. But you started slavery. But you started slavery. Oh, you have to be so fucking dense and stupid to say that. Oh, no, but it's chattel slavery. See, I've heard all the fucking arguments. Oh, no, but this chattel slavery, it's different than regular slavery because these people could one day be free. It's like, no, the fucking Muslims would cut off your fucking dick. Do you think, oh, but then you could be free? No, you were castrated. It's fucking way worse. And I'm not saying, oh, our slavery was better. Slavery is bad, all in general. But black people didn't take their fucking fly. Didn't take their freedom. They didn't take their freedom. They didn't go up with pitchforks and go to the fucking Washington state and say, white people, give us our freedom. That didn't happen. White people, enough of them changed their opinions and gave them freedom. That's what happened. That is exactly what happened. And forced other people to stop doing slavery. Okay, so it's like, yes, we're not perfect. Yes, there's bad things. Oh, residential schools, bad. I know, bad. Racist blackface cartoons, bad, offensive. I know, I get it. It's offensive, but you know what? If there was no white people, it would probably be Asians running the place or Muslims. And you'd all be fucking slaves, or you'd all be something like that. And nobody would have freedom of speech. Nobody have rights. Nobody have anything like that. The only reason China has a little bit, because they modeled off of us to try to get some wealth, because they were going down the fucking shitter. So it's like, they would have no model to see otherwise, right? So there'd be still some feudal fucking society right now. Maybe there'd be, I guess they invented rocket powder in China or something. There'd be something maybe, but ultimately, yeah, most people would still be slaves, and the world would be a lot fucking worse. But people just, it's fucking white people. Like they just hate them so much, and they resent Western civilization for what it has achieved, and they really resent anybody who uses the term. I read this whole article from Washington Post. They're like, oh, anybody who uses that term is essentially a white supremacist, and all these people, they use it, try to say like, we're better than you. And I could see the sniveling, like, writing, like as the person was writing, they're probably sniveling as they were saying this. And it's like, because it is better. Western civilization is better than every other fucking civilization when it comes to freedoms, when it comes to fucking wealth, when it comes to these things, property. Like, okay, there's plenty of other, I'm not saying all these other civilizations are pointless and there's nothing to them and we can't learn anything from other cultures, because we can learn lots of things from other people, and don't discount that. Don't think, well, white people were just so great, we'll do everything. No, we can learn lots of stuff from other people, lots of stuff from people that are vastly different from us. We can learn a lot from people that are still living in tribes on the fucking Sahara Desert. Like, they are connected to the way that we used to be thousands of years ago, and we can learn a lot from them. We can learn a lot from just different cultures, and it doesn't mean these things are shit. But Western civilization is just better to live in. It produces more wealth. It's kinder. It's more generous. Okay, well, I'm not going to say it's more generous or whatever, because I could make that argument and stuff, but then, you can go to some countries and some random people will be like, come into my house and I'll feed you or something. And that doesn't necessarily happen in Canada, right? But, I don't want to shit necessarily on other cultures, but people really do got to admit that, like, Western civilization is just better. And it's not bad for us to think it's great and to think that we want it to, I don't want to spread Western civilization in other parts of the world, because I don't think, like, Iraq or something necessarily wants that. Like, they want their own fucking whatever world the fuck they want. But I just want my Western civilization to be at least retained within my own country. I don't need to export it to other places. Go live in a dictatorship. Go live in a communist-run shithole. Be my fucking guest. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care at all. I've stopped caring about people from other countries, like in other countries. I'm not saying people in Canada. Like, I care more about Canadians now. I've ceased to care about things going on kind of in other places, unless the Canadian government has an actual direct influence in that. Like, if we're bombing somebody in another country, I care about that. Some innocent civilians. I don't want to kill innocent civilians in Syria. I don't want to kill innocent Muslims living in the Middle East, because there's plenty of them. There's plenty of innocent Muslim people that don't deserve to die on behalf of fucking military weaponry, right? That's bullshit. If Western civilization weren't the best, why the hordes only free Western world and not the other way around? Yeah, exactly, right? Like, why aren't people fleeing the other direction? Natives are using the word slave us too. The things native did to my ancestors are lost in history and often horrible. Yeah, right. So, Saint says it perfectly, right? There's a lot. We're only ever focusing on the evil white things white people did, and then when it's something bad white people did, then all white people did it, right? If it's like the English did it, then, oh, well, you're French. Oh, well, you did it too. Oh, well, you're this. Oh, well, you did it too, because you, by proxy of your skin being white or something, right? But can't do the same to them. But natives are good at refusing to work. Natives have tried hard to enslave us too. The things natives did to my ancestors are lost in history and often horrible. Right, there's lots of that, and it's not going to be there's not going to be people trying to dig it up and look into it and look into the history, because that would be racist, and it would be racist to talk about. They even did this, and I think it was Quebec. They removed a lot of the horrible things that the natives did in the fucking history books to make it more even or something. And then I forget, it was Alberta. They just changed their history books, and it's going to have a much more comprehensive view on what we did to the Aboriginals, and it's going to be brutal. You're really going to find out how badly you treated them. So all that's doing is it, first of all, it just makes a bunch of white kids have white guilt, typically. And then it makes all the native kids hearing this think anger, right? They're like, you did this to my people. And like, they didn't even know before. It's like, now you're teaching them. So from a very young age, they're priming them to like hate white people, to dislike white people for all the things that they did to their fucking ancestors. Because they're not going to teach it in an actual context, in actual, they're just going to teach one type of view in it. And yeah, people are going to come with that view. They're going to have white guilt. All the minority kids are going to think white people are crazy bad. And if they get their way again, if the government stops protecting us and ensuring we have our civil rights, they're going to go right back to Jim Crow. And they're going to go right back to throwing our kids in residential schools. And that's what they're saying right now anyways, because all these kids are being taken into foster care. And they're like, this is the new residential school in Canada. It's the foster care system. I'm like, no, it's because a lot of you guys are drunks and drug addicts, and your kids get taken away because of that. I know that. I know that first fucking hand, okay? My goddamn niece, my brother is a fucking idiot retard. He banged this, this woman, this like half native, half black woman, right? I love my niece though. She's great. I love her. I don't care about race or anything like that. I love my niece. Doesn't matter what she is. She's whatever. But she has a fucking kid from like a different dad. She's like 4 or 5 kids, all from fucking different dads. And she thinks at one point she said she thought that that her job was to have kids and for the government to pay for her. Right? It's like we have these fucking people, in society. Initially, though, I lost my train of thought. Helping Syria. Russia is helping Syria. Put them on welfare. Russia would be much rather history from the viewpoint of the savage. Look at the lies Gord Downey spewed before he died. No, I didn't see those. Did he spew a bunch of lies before he died? Son of a bitch. Russia is a Christian nation helping Syria fight Islamic terrorists. Stop lying. Russia, who's lying? Yeah, but Russia is helping, Syria, in my understanding, to fight Islamic terrorism. I'm not a fan of Russia either, but Trump pulling out is a good thing. And, don't believe all that propaganda saying like, oh, Trump, it's horrible that he's pulling out of Syria. This is terrible. No, this is a good thing. After the Immigration Act and creating GST and ruining the Conservative Party, why do conservative people consider Mulroney? I don't know. He's the worst. I hate Mulroney. He's such a piece of fucking shit. I saw him on he's one of these, you know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of like, the rhinos Republicans in America, like Paul guy that's stupid, and McCain and whatnot. It's like, he kind of reminds me of one of these people. And he was all praising Chrystia Freeland and the new NAFTA negotiations. And he was like, now he's like championing the Paris Climate Accord. It's like, this is why the conservatives in Canada are just, they just have no shot. It's like, well, what? How are these people actually conservatives? Like they sound like liberals. If they were in America, they would sign up for the Liberal Party. Discover who exactly requested residential schools. Do a little research and discover who exactly requested the residential schools. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Wasn't John A. McDonald or something? Or I don't remember. We developed the most tolerant, welcoming culture and welcome the most intolerant, unwelcoming cultures, and now they are calling us racist. It's beyond messed up. Yeah, it's crazy. It's honestly insanity what is going on and what people actually believe. Like, they don't see reality. You know, they're seeing this made up reality that the mainstream media creates for them. And like, I was going to go through this Andre's Twitter feed, because he is one of these people that is pushing this narrative. And like, literally all of his tweets is like, oh, the white man this, the white man this. But like, I read that initial one with the Brie woman. She's like, you know, every time white racism shows its ass, we got to go through this inane exercise of folks acting like they don't know where it came from. Where do these kids learn such behavior? Where are the parents? Where do you think, or who do you think taught the kids to be racist? Stop with this fake shock. And then below this was like, how fitting that the people who fanatically cling to their racism congregate in the poorest, least healthy, and least educated states. Or perhaps clinging to racism, bigotry is precisely why, as a group, they continue to fall behind. So, you know, like, listen to these fucking pieces of shit, how they talk about white people. You know, it's like, and how fitting that the people who fanatically cling to their racism congregate in the poorest, least healthy, and least educated states. Well, guess what? There's a lot of fucking black people in those fucking states. And they're the ones that are poorest, the least healthy, and least educated in those states as well. So, you know, like, but they're going to go and just, you know, spew their fucking racism and shit, or perhaps clinging to racism, bigotry is precisely why as a group, they continue to fall behind. And you look at these people, they love, oh, white people, they're falling behind. Oh, this is so great. This is so great. Oh, you know, oh, they're all dying and killing themselves. Oh, this is hilarious. Ha ha ha. You know, and then she responds, kind of good, I guess, to it. She's like, don't put all poor white folks, don't put that all on poor white folks. Poor white folks do not run this country and don't create the racist policies that maintain status quo. This nation is run by the wealthy white elite, and they don't all live in the red states. But Obama, he's black. I guess he's a white elite. Racism defines white identity. Let's keep it at a buck. I don't know. The last part didn't make sense, but like, white elite and they don't all live in red states. Racism defines white identity. So that's kind of fucked up to say white identity is defined by racism. So black identity is not, and all these other things is not, but white identity is racism. What? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, what? You know, like, you know, this boggles my mind. These they're living in a fake world, where they think they're being oppressed every fucking day of their life. And like, a lot of these people, these minorities in Canada, the thing that pisses me off the most is they think they all live in America. Not all minorities. I know I have to fucking say that. Hashtag not all, blah, blah, blah. But there's some people, some black people and stuff on Twitter and they're like, they're talking like they're living in the Bronx, in the fucking, like Detroit. They're like, oh, they're walking down the streets of fucking Scarborough as a black man. Oh, and I'm like, oh my God, man. Like, this is so ridiculous. Like, leave Canada. You probably came here as a fucking refugee. Leave. We don't want you to stay. When I heard refugees, when I first heard about a refugee, I thought, oh, they're just coming temporarily. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, let's help them. They'll just be here a few years, you know. Okay, well, no, they all stay. None of them go back. Especially in Canada. It's like, oh, well, you've been here for 4 years now. You can automatically apply for citizenship. And you're like, and none of them go back. Oh, well, your country's, it's fine now. There's no more war. Yeah, but I like it here. This is a much better country, and I'm going to stay here. So, you know, immigration, on, you know, you got to count refugees on top of that every year. Whatever refugees, those are just going to be citizens. Whatever refugees, like the 40,000 Syrians we brought in, they're all citizens eventually. All the border crossers, they're all going to be citizens eventually, or the vast majority of them are going to become citizens, right? None of them are going to leave. They're all going to fucking stay. And, all those homeless people dying and freezing to death outside is going to continue, because these people are going to come in and take the refugees, the shelter that the regular homeless people needed. And then you're going to have these virtue signaling leftists coming out. I mean, this is such a great thing. Oh my God, this is so great. I can't believe we're such great, nice people while they're living in their nice heated mansion, sipping champagne and eating $1,000 fucking caviar, laughing at stupid peasants freezing to death out on the fucking street, while we're such kind fucking people with your money and your fucking resources and your space and your security. Oh, we're so kind to bring these people in that turn out to be fucking criminals. Like what has already happened already. We gave some criminal permanent residency ship, and it was like, oh, the CSIS and all these departments messed up, and it only happened once. Bullshit. It only happened once. And then you got the Danforth shooter, or this other guy who's a fucking refugee, killed some people, and you got Justin Trudeau saying, well, I'm not one of those people who thinks that our refugee thing has anything to, I don't tie in the refugees killing somebody, even though it was a refugee and my policy that directly resulted in the death of this person, but I'm not going to tie these two things together because I don't do these things. He's such a piece of shit, that guy. I hate him so much. And it's like, people remember things differently. They remember things differently, and everybody's like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah. She was abused. He grabbed her ass, and she remembered it differently. I didn't actually grab her ass. Work's been pretty tight, and someone asked me why I don't join the army. Have you seen what the government does to the veterans, taking them to court and not paying them? What kind of retard would say, why don't you join the army? Like those people are not woke, right? Those people, it's like, why would you ever work for the army? And, I would never work for anything that has to do with anything with the government, right? Maybe some subcontracting, but other than that, no. Definitely nothing at all. I would never want to be a police officer. Fuck the police. I would never want to be in the army because, they're just gonna treat you like shit, fight you in court, do absolutely nothing for you. No. Fuck that. I'm gonna do absolutely. You know what? That the quote I hate the most was from JF Kennedy, or the Kennedy. It's like, ask not what you can do for the government, or ask not what the government can do for you, but ask what you can do for the government. It's like, fuck you, you statist cunt. Fuck you. What can I do for the state that's going to steal my money and replace me with a bunch of fucking third worlders? What can I do for the state? What? No. What can you do to stay the fuck out of my life? That's what I want to know. What can you do to go the fuck away from me? But I don't know. I'm going on another rant there. Let me see this guy's tweets, because a lot of his tweets just piss me off a lot, because I'm like, what a racist piece of fucking shit. But let's see here. Scratch timeline. Okay. Let's see. Oh yeah, do you guys hear about Cardi B as well? He's like, not that I stand for anybody, but one of the reasons I love Cardi B is how people's opinions about her is such an efficient sorting tool between working class identity and aspiring bourgeoisie. This guy's a fucking socialist fuck. Andre, I'm some black socialist, and I always used to see him, and these type of people get recommended to you on Twitter if you don't follow anybody else, because I'm permanently banned from there. So they, I get to see these people, but what the fuck did he say here? Oh yeah. working class and aspiring bourgeoisie. Like, so your opinion on Cardi B, like, see, this is idiocracy. We are living in idiocracy for this to be a legitimate statement of any kind, because it's like, she's a retard. Like, she is a whore. She dances around. She was a stripper. She probably sucked 1,000 dicks. And now she's like, oh, a role model for fucking kids and shit, and a test. No, I was gonna do a video about this, and I was gonna say she's like a litmus test, essentially. Like, if you take her seriously, you're an idiot. If you're like, oh, I'm gonna retweet Cardi B because she smacked down the government real hard on this thing, it's like, are you kidding me? Like, she made barely any goddamn sense whatsoever. And then she said she's gonna drag Tommy Lauren, like she's gonna fight Tommy Lauren. And like, this girl's so ghetto. She's so fucking ghetto. And then you got all these people. And then you got AOC, that Cortez girl, coming in. She's like, that's what you get with messing a girl from the Bronx. Blah, blah, blah. Doesn't she know that us girl, like, speaking all like minority hip? And this girl, she's like so fucking suburban as well anyways. So it's so funny, but she's playing it up because she's like, I'm brown too, guys. Hey, but really she's like, I wonder who crafted that tweet. She probably asked her black friend, does this sound okay? Does this sound okay? You know, but like, so cringy to see too. And it's like, oh my God, like, how do these people fucking live with themselves? But let's see here. But yeah, if you take anything Cardi B says seriously, you're an idiot. And I saw like Schumer and all these other senators debating whether or not to retweet one of her rants, because they're like, oh, it has a lot of profanity in it, but it was so good. And I'm like, oh, they're trying to play it up to the young audience. But let's see some of this guy's tweets here. As funny as this is, shocked folks. Let's see here. Sleeping Dom. You might look at her tweet history. Oh yeah, see, and this is the thing. I keep seeing a trend of these blue check marks. See, this guy's like a reporter, okay, from the McLeans, and he's like, if you don't condense the idea down to 60 seconds or less, then this video captures perfectly. I don't know, some white woman gets punched by a black woman, it looks like. And, you know, it's like Tariq Nasheed always like releases videos like this. And it's like, you know, some white person getting like punched by a black person, like, oh, they shouldn't have been in their space. And this is one tweet by Ken Bryan. I don't know who this is, but this guy, Andre, retweeted it. This is why I don't trust allies. Oftentimes, their understanding of the issue is as shallow as those they claim to be allying against us with. That's what he should say. I mean, what's complicated about this? A group of bigots incited another group of proto-bigots to act exactly how they've been taught. It's like, and he's responding to this person who's deleting their tweet, because a lot of people made a lot of tweets about these Catholic boys. And this is Radley Balco, opinion journalist, Washington Post, 77,000. He's like, deleting this tweet. And this is a tweet. That video featuring another Trump era phenomenon that we just seem take for granted now. When bigots want to harass marginalized people, they can simply chant one of the president's slogans, or don his hat, or yell out his name, and everyone, you know, so I don't know. So yeah, he's just pushing fake news, so he's deleting that. And then you got this one guy being like, oh, this is why I don't trust allies, because they're deleting fake news tweets, essentially. It's like, what? He's trying not to get sued because he's like virtue signaling on these fucking Catholic kids. Now he's got to retract it because of the new information. And it's not good enough for these people. It's like, oh, that's why I don't trust allies. So allies just means white people, because this guy Balco was a white guy. So I don't trust allies. So that's why I don't trust white people, essentially, because they don't want to get sued. It's like, you're fucking retarded, man. Yeah, all these celebrities calling for violence. It's insane. There's one guy saying, put these kids in a wood chipper. They said there was that, what was that redheaded bitch that held Trump's head? She called for all these kids to be doxxed. Like, people were giving out their numbers and stuff. I saved a bunch of their tweets. I was going to read some of them. But I started reading this Andre guy's tweets. I'm like, man, all these guys' tweets are ridiculous. And it's like they always find pictures of, like, you know, like they were showing that event that happened and all those Catholic boys standing around the native guy. And this is what they always do. They'll find like a picture from like the 1940s of like a bunch of white people standing around a black person, like laughing or yelling, to be like, and they'll put them side by side to try to be like, see, nothing has changed. Nothing in society has changed. It's exactly the same. It's like, that's what they're trying to, that's the message they're trying to get across to you, that like, see, we're just as oppressed as our elders. So when we go out and protest in the street for nonsense bullshit causes, it's legitimate. And you know, these people, they think they're living in the 1960s and 50s, and they're like, oh, getting firebombed by the police or something. You're like, no, you're not, man. You're just stupid idiots that think you're fighting the power of the man, when you're really, they're useful idiots. You are their useful idiots. And it's so laughable to me that they're like, oh, you know, we're just so above everybody else. We know. It's like, no. You're the leftist pawn. You're a pawn for the left, and you don't even fucking know it. A lot of these people, they think that, no, I don't like liberals or Democrats or Republicans because they're all racist. See, I'm woke. It's like, yeah, but you still fucking hold water for the left. You still vote for the left. You still give them power. So no matter how fucking woke you are, and how you know how fucking much they don't like these people and black people, all this, and how Democrats, and how much you know that the Clintons, and how much you know how liberals also are racist, doesn't matter, because you still vote for them. You still give them power. So it doesn't matter how fucking woke you are. Clearly, you're not woke enough, you know. But what are you gonna do? And this is another thing I saw. Charlie Angus, NDP. I hate this guy. He has the worst tweets in the history of fucking Canadian Twitter. Like, all of his tweets are regressive and horrible. And I don't know, he was an MP for, I don't know, Timmins James Bay or something, but I don't know, some NDP, so essentially a communist. But they were responding because CBC removed one of their original tweets about these Catholic kids, and they were saying that you know, I guess they were, you know, defaming these kids. So once again, they don't want to be sued because they believed everything the native guy said about the turn of events. Like, white kids harass native, blah, 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 you know. Here, one sec. Hello? Hey, what's up? Not a big hurry, no. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, well, I'm not in a big rush or anything, so I can call you around then. Okay, perfect. Peace. You know what's up, guys. You know what's up. You know it. No. It's not pizza. It's not pizza. It's not balls. It's big black dicks. Is that guy still on my channel? Oh man, I gotta ban that guy. Your voice changed. Oh yeah, no, that was my my dude. Yeah. Well, he said he was gonna call me, so I had to make sure to answer the phone just in case, right? Right, guys? Let's see here. Hey Jay, you're a sane voice. Appreciate your perspective. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Few really balanced people with brains pursue jobs if cops are in the military. Yeah, I agree. I agree. John, it already happened. The guy that shot those cops in Dallas was a TYT fan who even referenced their vids. Oh, yeah, right? Yeah, like the TYT. These people are the ones inciting violence. So many people are inciting violence against these kids. And not even directly. Like, there's so much just indirect dog whistling that goes on from the left, which they always accuse the right of doing. But really, they're constantly fucking dog whistling their base, trying to get people like, the whole narrative, the whole framing of just, white people calling the cops on black people, like, recently, the whole past year, where every one of these stories becomes like international headlines and shit. It's like, oh, a white person doesn't let a black person into the apartment building. Oh, look at this. This is an example of white supremacy and racism. And oh my God, look at, she followed him into the block. When like that guy didn't have the keys to the place, and they're told not to let anybody in, even if you know how they look. And that guy was new to the apartment, so she's never seen him before. I'm just gonna let this strange black man that I've never seen into my fucking apartment building, and then because I'm not gonna do it, I'm gonna be called a fucking racist, and I'm gonna lose my job. And then, yeah, this just follows the same shit. And hopefully, imagine. A lot of this video and this footage didn't get much more light. Like these kids, they're in hiding right now. They're still a bunch of angry mob leftists trying to fuck these kids over. And that native guy, he's like, oh, I saw the look in their eyes, and he's crying, and he's like, they had a mob mentality, and it looked like they were going to kill me. But really, the only mob people are the ones that you fucking incited with your lies, saying that, like, oh, there was some youthful black men there, and these boys were harassing them, when in reality, those boys were just walking away most of the time when they were being harassed by these fucking black Israelites, yelling like, the ridiculous shit, them homophobic shit, racist shit at them, calling them like white look at these white dirty crackers. I saw in the videos, white dirty. Just replace that with black, and people would be losing their shit. Imagine a white guy dressed in white, and there's a bunch of black people there, and a bunch of black kids waiting, and they're chanting and cheering, and then some white guy Christian comes, look at these black dirty kids, these black dirty. People would be like, oh my God, the media would have found that fucking news, that information so quickly. It would be, a story already. But somehow they just don't ever do their work, their journalism, when there's all of this. It took 2 seconds for me to go on Twitter and be like, oh, here's the full video of what really happened. It's like, and they're like, oh, and then they start coming out because that kid wrote a letter to one of his local news agencies trying to get them to release the full story. And then they're still trying to smear like one of the kids' mothers, because they're like, one of the kids' moms says black Muslim was the one that instigated it, and they put like in bold black Muslim, like trying to insinuate like that woman is racist for saying that. But no, they're black Israelites. But still, who cares that she was wrong? But then they're going to make the story into that, right? And even a lot of the stories I'm reading too, it's like some of the people, they're like, oh, there were some black youths quoting Bible verses, and then the pro-life people started harassing them. So the whole framing of it was, oh, you're thinking in your head there's some like nice young black men maybe talking, quoting the Bible or talking about something, and then you got these pro-life people attacking them or something. But reality is like there's these 40-year-old Israelites yelling like, you're a fucking faggot, you're a faggot to like these people, and like Trump's a faggot, and telling that one black kid his organs are going to be removed eventually by like white people or something. I'm like, no, that just happens in China. Okay, that happens in China. But it's crazy. And then, like, and then you have like that native guy lying, saying, oh, they surrounded me. And it's like, no, you walked into them and you started beating a drum in their fucking face. Like, you're lucky that kid did not deck you and like punch you out, because you were in his fucking space. And you know what I mean? Like, what were you gonna go into like some ghetto dude's face in the fucking ghetto and do that? He would have punched you. He would fucking like stab you. But this kid stared at him and smile so disrespectingly, and there's all these kids around not really knowing what's going on. You could tell none of them knew what the hell was going on. Really, they're like, what is this guy doing here? And they're like, oh, he was chanting, and they were making fun of him. It's like, people, they see what they want to see as well. I could watch that video and somebody else could watch it, and you can see all of the new information, and they're still gonna be like, oh, but they shouldn't have done that. And but it's like, fuck off. No, it was in United States, not England. The crayons will be every color except white. That's what it is. Diversity just means less white people. That's what diversity means in general. But that was that Charlie Angus fag. Let's see here. Oh yeah, he retweeted him. Very long, there's another person, another blue check mark. Very long history in the U.S. of committing racist violence and then gaslighting people about the fact that it happened at all. So they're saying that now we're pretending like it didn't happen. Now there's all these like blue check mark black people. They're like, oh, it's racist. Now they're telling us it's not. And Ebony Elizabeth. Before I go, I need to express once again that it does real harm when we descendant of 4 million refuse our actual elders and ancestors for fairy tales. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. The vast majority of us are descended from the enslaved, not the lost tribes of Israel. Oh, okay, so he's talking about the Israel person. He never told no lie. I almost don't want to go through this guy's fucking thing because it's just ridiculous. But this is how they frame something. Like, there's one black guy, Kano, and he's showing that white kid who took off his shirt to cheer with his buddies, and then he put in quotes, the black guy started it. So he's showing one thing out of context of these kids who were like, just fucking around, and he's like, oh, the black guy started it. See, guys, this is what the media wants you to believe. But it's like, man, you're just taking this shit way out of context to make these innocent boys look like fucking terrible people. And you're like, what the fuck, man? I'm familiar enough with the 4chan. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's see here. God forbid you'd be black person so much as walking in mixed company. Oh, this is a ridiculous one. I'm like, God forbid you be a black person so much as walking in mixed company. They will zero in on you to call you all kinds of coon and jigaboo. Oh, okay. So, yeah, I guess he's just talking about other black people who are calling him a coon and a jigaboo because he's walking with white people. So it's like, who are the real racists here? We're so mad about white people being racist, but all I ever see is like black people being racist towards other black people, or bitching about black people not being black enough, or, oh, you got white friends, or you're acting really white. It's like, I start telling people, you're acting really black. You're acting really black. That's racist. Charlie Angus was supposed to be an NDP leader because he has been the party forever and is the ultimate far left politician, but his own party was racist and gave it to the new brown man. Well, that's what he gets, right? That's what he gets, because that guy's the most, like, look at his Twitter. It's just cancer. It's cancer written. It's horrible. It's just the most ridiculous shit ever. Who? One second here. Who is this? BM. Is this guy against me? BM. Full video did not change a thing. They're still racist. How could they stare at this native guy in the face and smile like a fucking white supremacist racist that they are? Oh my God, man. Those kids should be strung up, should be put in a fucking detention cell for the rest of their lives. You know, not in my life would I ever stare in the face of an Aboriginal person while he beats a drum like a fucking retard. None of my life would I do that. I would immediately step aside, go on my knees, start bowing and being like, "Oh, this is your land. This is your land, your land." You know, like that is what we should have done. That is what should have been done. You know, those kids, they're just racist. They're so racist. You know, the whole video, the context didn't change anything. Even though everything that guy said was a lie. Even though he said they chanted "Build the Wall," which was a lie. Even though he said they came to him and surrounded him, which was a lie. Even though they said that he said that the white kids were harassing the black guys, which is a lie. Oh, the video doesn't change a thing. If you say this, and if you're not a troll, you just triggered me. So you were successful in your trolling. Good job. Or if you're not, then you're really fucking stupid. So one or the other. Yeah, you're probably trolling me. So good job then. Good job. But God, Friday evening. What else is this? CIA was a reading room page. You know, now this guy is pissing me off with his tweets now. Honestly, yeah, I think I'm done with him. I think I'm done with that. But oh yeah, Brian Stelter deletes tweet after it's proven that CNN is fake news. So a TV news exec emails, "What's more America in 2019 than a viral standoff at a Lincoln memorial between white teens in the MAGA hats and a Native American elder, spurred by misunderstanding, fear, fury, and social media confusion. Sad but true." Isn't he a fucking Jew as well, Brian Stelter? You know, so it's like, you know, white. What's more America in 2019 than a viral standoff at the Lincoln Memorial between white teens? White, just put black with and replace it with the way these people speak. What's more America in 2019 than a viral standoff at a Lincoln Memorial between black teens and DMX hats and a Native American elder, spurred by misunderstanding, fear, fury, and the social media conclusion. Sad but true. So he deleted this tweet because he doesn't want to be sued. He's a liar, spreader of fake news, Brian Stelter. You know, you fucking asshole, piece of shit, lying motherfucker. You know, and same goes with all those other people who had to retract their tweets and whatnot. A lot of conservative retards like Ben Shapiro and Meghan McCain or something, and a bunch of other. It's like, just do some journalism, or you don't even need to do journalism. I just looked at the fucking video, and it was like, oh, nothing bad. Yeah, no, I mentioned Brian Stelter was a Jew because he's saying, like, when I see people use white like that a lot, and then they say it with like a drip of venom in their tongue, and then I see that they're fucking Jewish or something, and they're not actually white, then I'm like, that makes it a little bit worse. I'm like, okay, wait, you're being pretty racist now, because like if you're just like a self-hating white person, you're like, oh, okay, whatever, you know, but these people, a lot of times they're pretending to be white when they're not. Or I don't care. I will say you're white, but don't fucking flip-flop on me and say you are 1 minute and you are the next minute, right? And that's one thing I have to point out, and you always have to point out, because and whatever you say about Jewish people, you're automatically, you're alt-right, you're anti-Semitic, you're whatever. But you know what? I think it needs to be called out. It's bullshit. They do run a lot of the media and all this shit, and a lot of anti-white propaganda you do see happens to be a lot from these people and shit. So I'm like, obviously it's coming from a bunch of people too, but I do notice things. I don't just shut my eyes to things and pretend like, well, I'll just ignore this. These people, you're a proven anti-Semitic person. Oh, you were jealous of the success of Jews. Oh, this guy must be a Jew. Oh, you're just jealous. You're jealous of us. That's what it is. This boy's life is already ruined. His face has been blasted all over the world. It's MAGA hat racist. Hey, Jay racist. Hey, Kelly, how's it going? But yeah, I like I said, I don't, but I just notice. I notice these things. I know, if I saw, a black person or person of color saying the same thing with white and dripping of venom, like, wow, that person's racist. And then if you see somebody who looks white, and then you're like, okay, wait, let me look at their last name for a second here, because that's not always the case, right? And that kind of it's a false narrative that is being kind of portrayed, because what people are seeing is they're seeing like that article I read a while ago about how it's good that the white man is losing his power or something like that. And the guy who wrote it was like some Stelter Eisenberg or something big thing, right? And it's like, he's pretending that like he's like happy that he's a white man losing his privilege, right? But at the same time, he'll come out, these people, and they'll be like, but I'm Jewish, I'm not white. See, just because the board looks all white doesn't mean it is. We're all minorities like you. We're all see, guys, you don't need to attack us. We're not actually white men like you, and I'm like, that's bullshit. It's like, no, either you're with us or you're not. Either you're white or you're not. Like, pick a side. Say you're white, you're not. I will gladly say, because they look white to me. That's what I always thought people were, right? Until I started seeing people on Twitter and all these Jewish people saying, I'm not white. I'm not white. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? I'm like, and they're like, well, I'm not. I'm like, okay, well, I don't even know what the hell white is anymore then. I'm like, I'm like, you look pretty fucking white to me. So I have no fucking idea. Chad, I was kidding. Oh, yeah, we need to ban Kelly Day because she's calling me a racist on my own goddamn fucking stream. Don't even pay attention to BM. He keeps going on and on. I'm not blaming the Jews. I'm just pointing out something. I'm not blaming the Jews. I just said, hey, this guy's Jewish and they like to pretend that they're fucking white, and they like to write a bunch of anti-white fucking propaganda, and then they go back and forth. That's something I've noticed. But I'm probably gonna be called a crazy racist for that, and anti-Semitic, and all that crap. But honestly, I just don't care. I don't care anymore. I really don't. You sound like a typical anti-Semite. I don't even care, man. Whitey's of convenience when it suits them. Yeah, right. And but that's just one tweet that somebody deleted, and like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like all these people deleting all these things, the evidence of their fuckery. What is this though? There's some more tweets that I had. Karen Lim, he can talk, he can walk and chant anywhere he wants, video or no. Does that give the little shits the right to surround, taunt, harass? Racist. Oh yeah, this is Arlen Parsa. This is some guy's tweet. Arlen Parsa. I went to their thing, and then they're like, the only race problem that school doesn't have, it's not just the students, but all the faculty is pretty much white. And he started like showing all these tweets how all the faculty is white. And he's like, oh, look at all these white people. This Arlen Parsa. I don't know who the fuck that is. And then they're like, oh, I censored all the individual teachers' emails address, but an email address he kept. And the only person that's not white is the principal. And they're like, did you know you're hiring all these white staff? Maybe you should make your staff more culturally diverse, then all your students won't be so fucking racist. You know, that is the method to fixing racism for these people and social equitable inequalities. Just throw everybody together. Just mix them all together and it will solve everything. You're like, no, it won't. It hasn't solved anything. What people do is they just leave, they move, they go to different areas. Hey, Luke, how's it going, man? AJ is non-Semitic. AJ is anti-Semite. Whitey's convenience. Stand. Wake up, dummy. For acknowledging my pain. Most people just use me to get stuff off the shelves. Aw, that's too bad, man. Your height only comes in handy sometimes. AJ, have you heard and read the Unabomber Manifesto? No, I have not. Jews and Asians in America, Canada stick together and whites don't. That is why they own more per capita. Yeah, it's true, because white people, we actually take our fucking ideas seriously, right? The ideas of meritocracy and not nepotism. White people actually take this shit seriously. Like, there's so many deluded liberals out there that think that diversity means like a bunch of different people, but they don't actually understand it means no white people. Like, they don't get this yet. They actually believe. There was this one girl. I just heard about this. She was like some twerk girl. She's a white girl, and there's a video, and there's all these women, different races and stuff, but there's no white people. And she's like, well, this isn't very diverse. And then they all like dragged her, or whatever the black lingo they use. And it's like, they're like, oh, but blah, blah, blah. See, you think that's not diverse. It is diverse. And they're like, wow, but there's no white people. But to a lot of people, no white people is diversity. Well, diversity just means no white people, less white people in fucking general, right? What was I saying here? Jews and Asians. But yeah, white people, we actually believe this stuff, and there's so much nepotism in all these other groups. There's nepotism in the Asian community. There's nepotism in the Jewish community. There's nepotism in all of these groups. And yes, there's some nepotism within white people. Like, what nepotism, you know what that is? You know, hiring within, you know, your own family, people you know, and, you know, whatnot, right? There's lots of this. And as we see in Hollywood, and as we see with a lot of Jewish people, yeah, there's lots of nepotism within these people. They have lots of nepotism. And there's lots of nepotism with the Asian community. But white people, we're European, that don't, you know, there isn't as much, right? We're not hiring like, oh, well, you're Polish like me, or you're French like me. Okay, well, there's some of that going on, but generally, no. And a society works better when you don't have nepotism. You know, nepotism can only exist, like, it can always exist, but it can only kind of thrive when there's a bunch of people not being nepotistic, because they're helping the economy thrive, and all these people, and then all these people are kind of like, you know, I guess you could say, like, it's hard to, I'm trying to like vocalize it, but they're like feeding off of us, something like because if everybody was nepotistic, right, the economy would be very bad. We would be a much, much poorer society, would be much, much worse. So it allows some people to be like this, but if it reaches a certain amount, if we're all like this, if 40, 50%, 60% of us are like that in society, then we're going to look like Africa. Then we're going to look like the Middle East. Then we're going to look like all these places where nepotism is running rampant. That is why one of the reasons their countries are shit, because they don't actually believe in meritocracy. They don't have that type of history. And it'll be like, well, you're my brother. Well, you're going to be the head executive of my company, and you're my sister. Well, you're going to be the executive of this, and you're my cousin and my mom's side. Well, you're going to be chief of staff, and they're going to promote all of their friends and buddies and shit, and then the company's going to go to shit because it's being run by their idiot family. Whereas if you want to run a business well and good, you hire people that are the best for the job, not just your fucking blood, right? And that's how we build wealth. That's how companies get better. That's how you have better products, because you have the best people working. You don't have a drain on your company like your brother would, who's going to be sleeping half the time because he knows you're not going to come down on him hard like a regular boss would, right? So that's why a lot of these countries are also poor, because of the nepotism. But so we don't want to be nepotistic and be like, well, just because everybody else is doing it, we should do it too. Well, if we all do that, we're all going to be a lot poorer. And we got to lead by example. And people are always going to be like that. They're always going to be tribalistic and whatnot. But that's why we need to detach ourselves as much as possible. And that's why I promote, a small government, a very small state, because then you can discriminate. Then you can live where the fuck you want. You're not going to have the state importing people into your country and forcing you to pay for them, right? You can do whatever you want, and you can do whatever you want with your money and raise as many kids as you want. Build your house as big as you want. There's not going to be some code saying, well, you can't build this here because you don't have a fucking window in this here, and you need another back door, and you need this, and you need all this crap. And you're like, oh, this is ridiculous. We keep people poor with a lot of the regulations. Like a lot of people, they can't even build themselves little small homes, like tiny homes that people could live in. Like I recommend, look at tiny homes on YouTube, like people living in buses, people living in like these tiny apartments that they like figure out how to build up and live in different floors. It's like really crazy. And, we would probably have a lot less poverty issue, homeless problems, if we were allowed to build smaller type home things. But they're like, oh, but that's not zoning. Oh, it has to be this. It has to be a certain size. Oh, that's, it has to do this. And you're like, well, okay, I can't even get out of poverty because you won't let me. You won't let me buy a fucking cheap home. You're like, no, it has to be this fucking big. Otherwise, you can't do it. So it's be a lot better. Kenneth Fay, I'm a moderator, so is Gordon. Yeah, Gordon paid $2 for his wrench. AJ, are any of your friends Jewish? I don't think so. I don't remember. Maybe one or two. I can't remember. I fear SK sent that garbage weather your way. It was brutal for a while. Yeah, it's getting cold here. Oh, really? Maybe I'll buy a wrench. It's $10 for a wrench now. $2 is pretty cheap. It's gonna be $10 now. No, I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. Indian people are racially Caucasian. Yeah, exactly. Asians, not natives. But the Caucasian, that's a whole weird statement, because they're like, oh, you go to the Caucasus Mountains and those are the Caucasoid people or something. It's like, I don't know. It gets confusing. With race is confusing, honestly. Like it can get confusing, but obviously we all know what white people are. Indians are not white. Asians are not white. We all know what white people are. We all know what black people are. We all know what Asians people are. Nobody's ever going to point at a brown Indian and be like, look at that white man running over there. Nobody's ever going to do that. Never. We all know white people is just like Europeanish. You know what I mean? You're from the European area. Probably not Syrians. You know, I know people go, but they got blue eyes and white skin. No, they're not Europeans. They're not white. Maybe, I guess, I don't know. Yeah, see, yeah, like, you know, race is complicated, right? It's not as cut and dry as black and white as people want to make it, right? There's a lot of mixture and stuff, but that is a whole different argument. And I know a lot of people that want to replace white people like to argue that and like to say like, oh, well, what really is white? Is white thing really is a thing anyways? So who cares if you get replaced? And what is white anyways? Really? You know, it's just a social construct and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, I agree. It is technically a social construct, white, but doesn't mean I want to be replaced with a bunch of darker skinned people. I don't want to replace with anybody. I don't want to be replaced with a bunch of Germans, with a bunch of Swedish people coming here. I don't want to be replaced with English people from England coming here. Just let me not be replaced by anybody, right? Nobody at all. White. Yeah, Jared Taylor. It's like white, the white man and the white. And then we white this. That's a good one. Kelly, you look like kind of broad that would know a good what the hell? Yeah. I'll allow some Swedish chicks. Well, yeah, all right. Well, I'd allow women of practically any race into Canada. But that's it, you know? That's it. Just the women. You know, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with adding some, you know, you could add some mixture in there, you know, some Caribbean or whatnot, some Caribbean women and some whatever, you know, that strengthen up the gene pool kind of a little bit, you know, not too much, you know, protect against some type of diseases or something. I don't know. But no men, not like Europe. They're bringing in like 80% fighting age men. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like they're like, no, you stay home and you fight the fucking war in your country, man. Jesus. Yeah, I would. I have dated interracially, and I would date interracially. I have no problem with. I don't have problems. I'm not like an alt-right person. Like I don't care about race mixing. I don't care about people who do that. You know, I do it. I would do it. I don't care. That doesn't mean I want to be replaced. You know what I mean? It's like people. I could want a black girlfriend. I could want a Asian girlfriend. I could want whatever girlfriend. But it doesn't mean I still want my country to be overrun by third world fucking immigrants. And, you know, people can, oh, but you're not doing your part, having white babies to replenish the white race or something. It's like, yes, I don't want to replace, but I don't want to have to be some fucking baby mill either. So that's why I'm like, let's just remove the fucking government so I don't need to fucking have to have 8 fucking kids to support old people when they get old. How about we just don't have fucking welfare so I don't have to do that? So then old people who don't take care of themselves will fucking just starve in the fucking gutter. I don't care. You know, if you're 80 years old, nobody loves you, everybody hates you, you're a terrible fucking, you know, like what you made your fucking bed, man. I don't give a shit at this point. You know, if like nobody fucking loves you at all, fucking help you at all, you know, there's nothing. It's like, okay, well, you know, I mean, that's just the way it needs to fucking be. And we need to stop populating so many stupid people that retweet Cardi B thinking she's a intellectual powerhouse of fucking politics. Oh, look at her assessment on Trump. Blah, 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 blah. Look how government healthcare. It's we're becoming stupider by the day. You know, we're becoming dumber by the day. It's because we have too many people. We have too many people. The population needs to be reduced. I'm not advocating any type of violent reduction, anything like that. Just stop giving people money. Stop subsidizing bad behavior, and things will start to fix themselves. Okay, you know what? You know how to stop climate change. You know how to fix climate change. Stop subsidizing everything, because subsidizing things usually prolongs an inefficient technology, because it's cheaper than coming up with solutions that are going to be more energy efficient. So all of the subsidization that the government does when it comes to produce, cattle, energy, whether it's green or whether it's oil, all this subsidization, get rid of all of it, then things will have to become more efficient. And when things get more efficient, they use less energy. Our energy consumption has been pretty much steady or been going down, even though our population has been increasing. So that means things are getting more efficient, and they could be even more efficient if we didn't have all this government intervention into the market all the time, fucking with shit. You know, like I said, we probably have flying cars right now. We probably have some crazy technology. If it wasn't for the government creating, I don't know, some patent laws, or creating, or creating subsidies to subsidize the oil industry, or helping, people keep certain patents like the electric car, hidden for years and all that stuff. All these things are facilitated by the government and have slowed down the progression of the technologies we could be using right now. And we would already probably be carbon neutral or something like that, if it wasn't for all this. But now they're like, oh, now they're just freaking out and shit. And, but that's what they do. No shit, his girlfriend's mulatto. He's went on about. Yeah, I do love black juicy asses. Thank you. Each their own. His girlfriend's Caribbean. Yeah, thank you. Who is this? Is this BM still going on about me? Who's going to tell your fiance, me or you? Well, I just got in a big argument with her the other day, and I was like, I don't want to be replaced. I don't want to be replaced. It was kind of an argument there, but I don't want to be replaced. That's the simplest answer. I don't want to be replaced. That's it. That's all. That's all I have to say. I don't have to say anything more, anything less. I don't want to be replaced. With anybody, any group. Nobody. Why can't Canadians just have Canada? Why can't we just have Canada? Right? Do we have to open the doors to the whole fucking world and just, hey guys, you're being replaced. We can't do anything about it. You're not having enough kids, and old people want pensions and welfare, and all these other people want welfare, and you need immigrants to replace you. That's what they're telling us. We need to replace you. Well, it may be too late. I don't think white people will ever be extinct, but proportionally, it's moving in a direction where we're going to be a minority. But you know what? Like, things seem to always go back to the way things are supposed to be naturally, right? Like there's always a correction, it appears, right? And there will be a correction, right? And a lot of people are going to die, right? A lot of people are going to starve to death. There's going to be a lot of wars. There's going to be a lot of famine, because, everything is just going to go, it's not going to be able to sustain itself without us. You know what I mean? It's not going to be able to sustain itself. The world as it is right now, with the way people are living and how they are so dependent on a lot of the things we've created, without us around, like, this is not going to be good for them. And we'll always be around, we'll be a minority, right? A lot of people in Africa are going to starve to death. A lot of people all over the world are going to die. And, the population numbers will probably eventually stabilize over time, because the governments will collapse, potentially, most likely. And there'll be some type of anarchy type thing. And obviously, there's always going to be hierarchy and structure. But when we restart things, we got to try to restart a small government, without an authoritarian state. Obviously, protect ourselves from invaders and shit. But go back to a meritocracy, and that will be good for us. But thank you, Voltron, for the donation, man. I really appreciate it. For all your other donations too, man. I'll read it though. We all know how the media lies and distorts events, but how long have they been doing this? 7 out of 9 newspapers were Jewish owned during World War II, right? Right, and it's like, this is something to discuss, right? It's like, imagine all we ever hear about is the overrepresentation of white people in boardrooms and in this and this and that. And people are saying that when we're the majority in our own countries. Like they were saying that when we were 90% of the fucking population. Why are there so many white men in boardrooms? Because we're 90% of the population, you fucking retards. But nobody really questions why there's Jewish people make up 1% of the population or something like that, but they represent a lot of people in boardrooms, a lot of people in disproportionate areas in life, and nobody's like, look at that Jewish supremacy, Jewish supremacy. It's like, why are they disproportionately represented all these things, even though they may, and then they come off, they look white. So then you look up and you'll look at a page of all white business owners. You're like, oh, look at that white privilege there. Oh, those white men owning those companies. And then you see like Goldstein, Bernstein, something Steen. You're like, okay, 3/4, half of these guys are Jewish. Is this still white privilege? Because half the times they are, half the times they're not. So that is something that needs to be addressed. It's not anti-Semitic to talk about that. It's legitimate. And if people are going to talk about overrepresentation and stuff, then I'm going to mention that overrepresentation. And it's not. And if you respond with your anti-Semitic, then you're brainwashed and you're fucked. Then you can't ask questions. You've been controlled by the media or something to respond a certain way because, said a certain thing, triggered anti-Semitism. Same thing with Muslims or Aboriginal people. It's the same type of reaction, right? But 7 out of 9, Germany, I meant. Oh, Germany, right? Right, but I would never, the world is intent on learning why it's called the white man's burden, right? Yeah, exactly, right? The world is intent on learning why it's called the white man's burden. That's a good point, right? If you don't know what that is, look it up. And it's probably, oh, that's such a racist thing to say, but you know what, man? Like that's increasingly, that's what it looks like is the fucking case, man. That's what it looks like it is. The world needs us more than we fucking need them at this point, honestly. And I'm not saying all these races are going to go extinct if white people don't exist, right? People will survive, but I'm saying they're not the same way as they were. And what are the freest countries? What are the safest countries? It's typically white countries, other than some Asian ones, right? But even the Asian ones, a lot of those, they have like no rights. A lot of them, have no rights in a bunch of them. They're like, I think like Seoul, it's pretty good. Like South Korea and a couple other places and stuff. But generally, this is where you come for freedoms. Like, is the world going to be full of freedoms and rights when we're a minority, when we're gone? No, it's not. Why would it be? That makes no sense. I do have a burden. You're my burden. You're my burden on this channel. You're burdening me right now with your comments. Says white supremacy, go fuck themselves. Yeah, whoever says white supremacy can go fuck themselves. We're like cockroaches. We will survive. Yeah. I don't, the mixing agenda hurts all races. See, like, I don't, I'm not against it, right? But I'm not for promoting like the media does, where every commercial you'll see like it's like a black man and a white woman. You're like, everything, there's no actual regular couples anymore. They're all interracial apparently now. The only time you see an overrepresentation of white people in a commercial is when it's the Gillette commercial talking about how white people are fucking bad and how white men are terrible. And then you see all these black guys stopping the white guys like, hey, don't do that, man. Like, you notice that huge disproportion in that video of bad white men to good black men, how they're always stepping in to stop the bad white guy from doing something. Did you notice that? They knew exactly what they were doing. They're not only pandering to women, but they're pandering to minorities because they just want to make it seem like they're attacking white men, because they know this too. It's not like that company really dislikes white men or likes black people or women. They don't give a shit. They just want to make money. But they know that it's okay to say whatever the fuck you want about white men, to attack them, to call them all privileged and all this bullshit. Criticize them as much as you possibly want. Nobody's going to react. But I just saw this thing trending on Twitter. This woman, she got mad at this commercial about cellulite. And the girl's like, oh, not all women. She's like, you want to remove your cellulite? Here, buy this product. And then she went on this huge rant that got like 50,000 likes about how cellulite, and now the commercial like retracted it, said sorry. It's just like one woman, one fucking feminist. Like, it's crazy. Like, these people. But like I said, you can say whatever you want about men, but you say something cross about women, cross about a black person, cross about a Jewish person, cross about somebody else, then you're done. You're done. Honestly, certain things shouldn't happen. I see way too many white women with mixed half-black kids used, abused, and left on. Well, yeah, that's bad. That's terrible. Like, well, that is a fucking thing that does happen a lot. And, I don't promote it. The thing is, like, you don't need to promote necessarily, like, to your kids, like, don't date a black man or don't date a white man or don't date this. As long as you're a good man, a good man that your daughter wants to find a man like, because he sees how well you treat your wife and how happy your wife is because of the relationship. She's going to want to find a man like you, right? So it's going to probably most likely be your race. And if it's not, maybe that guy at least will be a fucking good man or something at the very least. But generally, you got to be careful about telling your kids what to do and not to do, because kids are rebellious. Sorry, kids are rebellious. You could be like, hey, tell your daughter, and you really don't want this happening. Like, don't date that black man. Don't. Well, she's gonna fucking date a black man probably after that. And then you're not gonna be very happy. So it's better not even to do that if that type of thing bothers you, right? Whereas, me, in my perspective, I'm like, it really shouldn't per se, right? The only time people get mad about the race mixing thing, it's only when it comes to men and seeing our women interacting with other races, right? I see this, the black community, you see them, they get really mad when a black woman marries a white man, like, a Venus Williams or whatever, that tennis player married that white guy, and then all these other black women marry these white guys, and you just see them rage. Like, they're like, what the fuck? Stop dating these white men. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And then, sorry, I'm going to read your super chat. I just almost forgot about that, but I'll read that right away, Water Penny. And then the same with white guys. White guy is see a white woman with a black guy, kind of gets you mad. All men react that way when we see our race women with another type race of people. But that is a natural instinct. I think that is a natural reaction that humans do have. And it's not necessarily always good though. If you find if somebody's a good person, I don't like I said, I don't promote race mixing per se, but like I'm not against it. I don't think it's bad. But I don't think it should be promoted like it is right now, because it's only being promoted to white people, right? It's only being promoted to mix us up. It's not, but that's never going to work. The promotion of it's going to work to an extent, but generally people always date within their own race, even with all the propaganda that's going on. There's going to be more, but it's never going to reach like above a certain percentage, because just people are just not into that. They're just, a lot of the women, they're just not into black guys, or the black women, they're not into white guys. They're just not into it. But Waterpenny, it's when the people from other non-Western cultures gain the majority seats of power and begin writing your laws and change your form of government, where it becomes a point of no return, right? And yeah, that's what we really want to prevent, what we want to stop. And people that come here to Canada that are also minorities should also work with us to stop that, to prevent that from happening, right? That's why I don't want to alienate anybody. Be like, only white people can, I can only interact with white people because, well, you're just pigeonholing yourself at that point. You're fucking yourself. This is the problem with the alt-right a lot of the times too, is like they pigeonhole themselves. And then there's like with that Ronnie guy from Canada here, they're like excommunicating him because he has a black girlfriend. And they're like, you're not real white nationalist. But all he's doing is talking about like, white people being replaced and all this shit, and kind of working for them, like working in their favor. But it's not good enough for them. You got a black girlfriend, so you gotta go. You gotta go from here. You race mixer coal burner. It's like so stupid. Why alienate people that are your fucking allies, your potential allies? Well, you're not the right color. Well, it's so stupid to me. It's so stupid. It's like no, not Ron Garvey. No, I don't know his last name. Ronnie. He got like 14,000 followers. He's kind of alt-rightish. Let's see here. That's bullshit. Reptiles. Seeing my race being diluted. Right, like my niece is native, black, and white, right? But I love my niece. I love her so much, right? Doesn't matter what race she is. She could be completely black. Wouldn't bother me at all, right? It doesn't bother me. So like, I don't care. People, I don't, it's okay. I don't mind the mix. Honestly, I think I've always been attracted to women that were half white and half black. I've always thought that mix was really attractive. The more you tell a woman not to do something, the more she wants to do it. Yeah, exactly. So if you don't want your daughter dating a man of another race, don't tell her not to do it, because she's gonna fucking do it. I'm waiting for people to be able to identify as a different race. I mean, it work for gender. If we're a white man, could we identify not ourselves as black? Yeah, well, we tried that, but it's not working for us. They're just like, no, it's not the same. No, with that whole Rachel Dolezal thing. You want a black slave, don't you? Of course you do. No cure for leftism. My dad got mad when I became a Habs fan. Of course you do. Oh, wait. He didn't like it. The Sens suck, so I'm not worried. Just for the record, race realists are not racist. Yeah, right? You're just acknowledging race. I'm not a leftist. Are you sure? There's a lot of black people say that they say, I'm not a leftist, but I'm just going to vote for everything that's left and going to use a lot of their rhetoric and all this shit. But I'm not a leftist. I'm not. How dare you say that? But 95% of people. Am I still here? Oh, my views are going down. What's going on? Oh, is it still buffering? Ah. It's back on? Okay, good. It's back on. I bet AJ is punching a Yeah, I am doing that right now. I'm punching one right now. Okay, good. All right. I don't know what happened there. Everybody just I had 40 viewers. Half the people left as soon as it buffers. No patience. No patience, you people. Zero. Jesus Christ. Bastards. Bastards. Each and every one of you. No, I'm kidding. Refresh. Oh, okay. Ah, that makes sense. I was like, no, just left. But he leaves. Oh, but I'm still here. The government is watching. Yeah. CSIS. Leaving because you're not answering my question. Okay, Jon Snow. If you have a question, Jon Snow, put A at AJ Elicits. Let me see here. You have not done that once. So if you put that, then I will see your name first, because I'm ranting, I'm talking, and it's hard to like read the chat in unison. How long you been going for, AJ? It's happy. Other browser acting up. 2 hours and 20 minutes so far. So quite a while. Know the poor white man's burden. The mixing agenda. Laugh out loud triggered. Okay, let me see here. Bring me you tired, hungry, and poor. Okay, let me see here. Where is the question? Where is regular couples? Regular couples. I don't know what that. Okay, let me go all the way down here. I'm doing this for you, man. Okay, well, you didn't ask a question properly, so you got to ask it. You got to ask it better. Do the Jon Snow do the AJ elicits? Did it work? Yeah, guys, just hit refresh. Hit refresh. That probably is what's doing it. I'm assuming. Still waiting for Jesus to return. Hey, not Jesus. This is Jesus. Yeah, my Jesus hair. It's crazy. Oh. Fresh work for me. Where's our beer? Okay, good. It worked. Or Jesus. Or, oh, okay, I found Jesus. He was behind the couch the whole time. Have a good night. Oh, have a good night, man. Take it easy, Gordon. Is the cat hiding? Yeah. Oh, he's sleeping right now on my little couch. My couch right here. He's all curled up in a ball. Little bastard. Hey, Chupa. Aw. Coming right up. Yeah, see you later, man. Have a good one, Gordon. But yeah, there's that whole fucking Catholic boy thing and stuff. I pretty much went on a huge rant anyways on this stream. But is there anything else you guys have? Are you, AJ, are you a fire sign? What do you mean? Fire sign? For what? I'm a Taurus. I'm a Taurus. Is your cat a boy? Yeah, he's a boy. Did you say cat? Sheesh. Astrology, I mean. Aries. Yeah, I'm a Taurus. Mad Max said in an interview last weekend that he isn't going to change our constitution this time around, but left it open for the next election. What would you change? I would just scrap it entirely and start from new. I don't know who wrote our constitution, like Pierre Trudeau or something. Like, it just needs a complete overhaul or something. Like, yeah, it could always be better. I don't know it, like, I guess, in depthly enough to be like, I want to change this, but if it could be closer to what the Americans initially had, something like that, yeah, that would be pretty good. But we don't have that good of a constitution already, but it's still better. It's still okay, I guess, compared to a lot of countries. It's not terrible. But yeah, it's not, I guess, not a necessity to overhaul it immediately. Anyway, I don't know. It's probably just let the government collapse and just restart from anew. There is no way a black girl would date AJ. So you're definitely black. I don't know why you would say that unless you're black or something. Canada could use a Bill of Rights for real. Yeah. Like, Canada is a joke country, though. We are a fucking joke. My hair's fucking I gotta get a haircut very soon, but I've just been putting it off for a really long time. Canada is like an inner tube with 50 patches. Toss it. How do we fix it, in your opinion? How do we fix it, in your opinion? Canada? Oh, I have an easy answer for pretty much everything. It's just more freedom, right? More freedom, less government. I think people can figure out a lot of things on their own and without the help of the government. But how to go about that, that's another story. How do you convince people to want less government? That is difficult. I've been trying to do that. I've been trying to convince people that the state is bad, that the government is bad. This is primarily why I made my YouTube channel, was to look at stories and stuff on the news, and then I look at it and I'm like, how did they, like, sometimes you see like how the government affected this and how people aren't really talking about how it was the government impact on that created the sick situation that we're talking about right now. And they're just kind of like, oh, this happened, the drugs are rampant, what do we do about it now, right? It's just kind of like problem and this type of solution, but not like, never like, well, what started this from the beginning, right? And you're like, oh, the welfare, oh, the single mother rate with the birth of welfare, and now we're doing all this shit now because of it's Canada also has a constitution and a corporate charter, right? Yeah, the charter from Trudeau in 82. He's the one that started that. But yeah, we have constitution, but it's like, it's not a bad one compared to a lot of other countries. I guess it's not probably as good as the American one, but generally I'm just never happy with the government anyways. I always think they just need to go further, right? They just need to like give us more rights. I think we should have as many rights as possible. I don't think we need to curtail people's rights. Don't think less government will happen. I have watched freedom disappear year after year. Yeah, well, I agree. We're gonna get bigger. The government's gonna keep growing, right? It's gonna keep growing until it can't anymore, and then it's gonna collapse. And then when it collapses, and if it's a really bad collapse, not just like a regular recession, really bad, that's when we have an opportunity to try to wake the fuck people up and be like, okay, we're not going to go back and start the same old system in place we had before. We need a new system that is parasite proof, where the government is not going to be able to be prone to being taken over by lobbyists and by special interest groups and stuff. How do we limit the power of the state as much as possible going into it? And obviously the Americans with their initial constitution had a good initial go at it, but we see that it has degraded over time. Now America has the largest state in the world, so they had a good constitution, but it wasn't perfect. There's clearly some things that could be changed. Maybe even less government is my idea. I think it almost needs to be completely abolished, because to me, the government is like a cancer, and it starts very small, but then you just keep feeding it and feeding it and feeding it and feeding it. It keeps growing and growing. Cancer starts as one little cell and it expands. So that is government. You think you start, oh, we're just going to have it for this, and we're only going to have it for just for these single mothers that need help, because we're doing very good. We got lots of money. It's okay, guys. We'll just have a little bit of socialism, and then a little bit turns into more, then more, then more, then more, then more, until it's what the fuck we have right now. So, it can only get good. It can only get worse. I don't know what the fuck that quote is. Darkest before the dawn or something like that. But you know what I mean. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. That's just how everything goes. Like there is a pattern in nature, I think, that things follow, and that's what I mean. Like, things are going to self-regulate themselves. Things just go back to the original state that it was supposed to be in at one point. Like, you can go in, build a bunch of houses and facilities on a big patch of land, but over time, it's the nature is going to take that fucking thing back, and it's going to reclaim that fucking land. And it's like, even like the human body. That's what I was thinking. Like, like right now, what we're doing is so unnatural. That's why there's always these crashes in the economy, and there's like these corrections and stuff, because we're going in a wrong direction for a long time. It needs to correct, and we're going in a bad direction, and there's going to be a huge correction in my mind. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm completely wrong about everything that I say. That's what I do. I really hope that, but I don't think I am. And I think we just need like generally less government as a whole. But it does include right to form militias, right? Does it include right to form militias? I've been to Canada twice. I shit you not. When I was there, I happened upon a Nazi parade. Yeah, right. Well, we used to have more freedom of speech, and it's slowly getting curtailed more and more and more. And a lot of these laws get created through case law. A lot of the time, it's not necessarily even a law through the Constitution or whatever. It's through a judge that decides through a case that, oh, you can't do this anymore or something, right? And then that becomes the law of the land over time. A lot of the law that we follow today is case law that's written by lawyers. And that's why a lot of lawyers want to work in that type of shit, because they literally get to write the laws. So you wonder why things are so fucking complicated and complex, and in lawyer speak is so they can understand it. So you need a lawyer to get anything done. It's like they force you to need them, because they make things so complex that you need to hire all these fucking lawyers. And that's why all these big corporations and stuff want lots of regulations, wants lots of taxes, all this stuff, because they can hire lobbyists, lawyers, all this crap to go and not pay taxes. I'm sure we've all heard about these large corporations paying zero in taxes because they know how to fuck the tax system, go through loopholes that are written in there by their lawyer buddies. And then all of us, regular common folk, the bourgeoisie, or something like some assholes like to call us because they're ridiculous idiots, we're getting screwed. We're the ones getting screwed, not them. Do hope I'm wrong about the stuff in politics that makes me feel worried. I'd rather be a fool than be right. Yeah, well, it's like, it is scary and stuff sometimes, but at least you know that you know about it, and you can possibly do something about it. So that's comforting in knowing. At least now you would rather know now than find out at the very last second, right? And then feel like you couldn't do anything, or feel powerless. At least now you feel like you have some power, have some say. So your own upgraded finance. Saw my comment, then I took it hard in some way. But yeah, guys, I think I think this is about good. It's been about 2.5 hours of this stream. I gotta meet some guy pretty soon, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Wink, 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 wink. I always have these streams on for like way too long, though. Anyways, or I just keep going. I don't ever intend to go this long. I'm like, I'll do like a half an hour. I'll just talk about this thing or whatever. And then it just goes on and on and on. And I look and I'm like, 2.5 hours. I'm like, holy shit, 3 hours I've been talking. What, no pickup in a barbecue? Yeah, I barely even made any fucking food today. But, I think I'm about done, guys. I appreciate you guys all for joining me and coming around and stuff. Thank you again. And thank you for all the donations. Voltron, Rainy Steps, if you're still around. I'm trying to remember who else donated. Whoever else donated, I can't remember off the top of my head, but thank you as well. I really appreciate that. C6. Oh, thank you, Voltron, man. I appreciate that. I thank you for all the donations, man. No, I thank you every time you donate. I really, really do appreciate that. You do have a gift of gab. Oh, thank you, Faye. I really appreciate that. I thank you for joining my streams too whenever, that I'm having them. I really appreciate everybody partaking and, throwing in their 2 cents and keeping it going, right? Because it makes it more entertaining. Yeah, reading the chat and, a lot of people have interesting questions. So, keep that up. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Oh, I will. I'll snuggle my Chupa. Looks like he's getting up there soon. But I put my 2 cents in all night long. Yeah, thank you for your 2 cents, man. Oh, man. Thank you, Gator. Thank you, Winston, for coming by, man. Thank you, Water Penny. Thanks for the rant session. No money. And thank you, Deplorable Kel. All right, guys. Have a great night. See y'all. See you later, Steve. Enjoy.